Hello, good evening everyone. This will be very sporadic for me as I am making dinner, so I won't be doing much commentary, but I will be here in bits and pieces as we have 10 laps to go, or just over 10 laps, in round 7 for our F1 here. A bit of a throwback here as Goldzic leading the way, followed closely, well not so closely, by Kalle Pukin, and he's been overtaken by Mikael Gruznik. Everyone who's from Poland ends with a ick. That's my new thing here. Further down the field, Kubel, new driver, Kirill Paklovich riding in P5 at the moment. Sam Reynolds, after an unfortunate incident there with Michael, down to P6. I only caught the end of it. I was on my phone actually. Then we've got I-Roll, okay, Mr. Rick Roll, who's closely followed by Thom Gilla, championship rival of Michael. He's had a disappointing round 7 so far. Then Matty, who I recognise from somewhere but I'm not too sure. Bartek, an Ero legend riding in P10, followed by his teammate for today, S15 in P11. Main fight now, but it seems to be between P2 and P3. We will stay on board with this here as Mr. Kalle Pukin, Mr. F1 standings editor, host, Mr. Everything really for F1 in our regular F1 24 tiers. And someone I like to consider a friend, is riding in P3, going into Cops Corner. Closely behind the Red Bull here of F7's answer to Max Verstappen. We're going to see what happens here. Kalle's going to have DRS, but different to F1 24, you can't just burn that battery out as much as you want. You have to strategically use it here. And Kalle is closing in on the Red Bull driver. He has got a penalty though. Let's have a look at the tyres. It's further down behind them. Quill getting the move done into Stowe as they move up to P4. So Kalle up 11 positions from the start. Wowee. Everyone on the hards up to P9 as Sam gets a 5-second time penalty for speeding into the pit lane. Also different to F1 24, where you normally would get a 10-second time penalty. And Tom, everyone's just overtaking Sam at the moment. Kalle still closely behind here. So there was an early safety car due to Shark retiring. I'm not sure the conditions behind it. I might have retired on track, to be honest. Then the game put me on the wrong tire. No, I got wing damage, then the game put me on the wrong tires. No, I put the wrong tires on firstly, then the game gave me wing damage. Or whatever. Due to some safety car nonsense, and then I was just like, I can't be arsed. So here we are. Anyway, Thom on a recovery drive here. Not been the best of days for him, the Italian man. Happy Easter to everybody celebrating. Currently with a 5-second penalty. Could have served that onto the safety car. Why did he do that? Kalle with the only driver apart from Rowley who has a 3-second penalty for track limits. Interesting enough there. As I did 4 stops apparently. Bartek also doing 3 stops, everyone else mostly on the 1 stop. As these two have been fighting for quite a while, the Alpine and the Williams of Kubel and Quill, and we are seesawing around here as Goldzic leading the way here into lap 19 of 26. I did not anticipate my Monday evening would entail commentating in ERO, but anyway, here we are. It is what it is. Where is Lex Hodd? I do not see him just yet. And we have a few people watching the stream. Well, good evening to you. Hope you all had a nice Easter. Loads of Easter eggs and all that good stuff. And Michael is closing in here on Goldzic, though I'm assuming he's going to get a penalty for that incident with Sam afterwards. As Bartek Cloudo with a 3-second time penalty for track limits. So the only problem with having one F1 23 series is that the skill gap's going to be quite big, as you're seeing here with this spot over a minute away, unfortunately for them to go. It's like, that's the only issue you have, really, because there isn't that many drivers anymore playing this game. F1 25 about to come out next month, I think it is, so we're quite close to the launch of that. The problem with a 5-second time limit is, well, he's going to have, I think he's guaranteed P6 at this rate. It is all about damage control for the Italian driver. And Michael is closing in on Goldzik as they go into Brookfields. I don't know, I'm tired. Luffield now. It's been one of those weekends where I haven't done a whole lot, but at the same time, I've been tired because I haven't done a whole lot. Anyway, down the old national pit straight they go into Cops Corner. Calais still waiting in the wings, trying to build up as much battery as he can. As Maggots and Beckett's now, tricky little section of corners here. I think Calais is going to have a much better exit here than Michael. Michael is on the wrong gear, and he is getting both drivers gaining to the leader. And Kubel is arriving on the scene. Calais, my love, my favourite, as they go into the Vale chicane. Probably the heaviest braking zone on the track. Starting lap 21 of 26. I go and check out my food. As we're entering into the dying embers of this race. Into the Vale chicane. This was the best actual camera angle to leave it on because the top three were in right of view of everything. Just laps to go here. further down the field. I think Quill is up. Quill is on for a podium, I think at this rate. If I can keep this pace up. That's Matty with a time penalty. Everyone on really old hards. Bartek into the pits. Well, Quill is definitely on for P4. Is the question? The question is, are they on for P3? As Matty has gone from bad to worse. He's got speeding in the pit lane penalty now as well. So both drivers with a 3-second. Calais not really going to be pushing along here. Just leave it like this here. That's probably going to be an overtake for the lead here happening. Calais staying out of the dirty air as best he can going into Stowe. No move done just now. Bit of a wobble there though, speaking about, as Quill moves up to P4. Now they need to pull within 2.5 seconds against the finish goat of Ero. It's going to be a close finish here. We've got 3 laps to go in F7. Also known as F1 23 tier. A lot of drivers this season. 15 is quite good for this. As Camille, our golden standings editor, has just finished all the standings for his tiers. Amazing lap. That was just great. Here we go. Gaining and gaining. I think Calais is really building up the battery for one last attack. He wants to keep on to that podium position, as Quill is on an absolute tear at the moment, gaining over half a second that last lap. And this is the main fight here between P1 and P2. There's a yellow flag in sector 2. That's an Alpine that's gone off. That might be Kubo. I think it is Kubo. That's good news for Thom. As Kubo's back and racing on the track, so Tom might be gifted P5 here, and here we go. No, still not using. These three still providing information as we go into the penultimate lap of this race here. Is that rain, I say? I don't think so. It'd be quite cruel if it was rain. No, it doesn't look like it. Sam and Rowley getting involved with each other further down the field. As look how close these three are going into the penultimate lap. Into turn 1 here, up club. Into Chapel, I think it's called. Here we go. I think there's going to be some moves now in just a second. Not on this straight, but on the next one. On the hanger straight, I think there's going to be moves if everyone can keep closely tied in beside each other. If it doesn't happen this lap, it's definitely happening the next one. Goldsworth needs to charge that battery of his if he wants to be able to defend to the cars behind. So this all plays nicely into the hands of Calais, who's just going to keep P3, that's his objective at the moment. As Bartek with the fastest lap of the race with a 1:27.999. Here we go. Calais not making any moves here. Oh, there's Michael. Matty now going even faster by 8 tenths. Ooh. Great driving from these three, all very, very close in single file. Going around the final corner as they begin the last lap now. And I'm assuming this is when all the battery usage is going to happen. Now, interesting enough here, if Michael does get a penalty for that incident with Sam, that will stick him down to P4 by the looks of it. And even more interesting enough now, Tom is, I think, is going to have P5 here. We'll see in just a second. That's bit of thinking for me to do, a bit of gymnastics. But anyway, as these guys are going to be getting into it for one last attack, as Kalle is really, really close to the back of the Red Bull here, and he's really close to the back of the AlphaTauri. Kalle just kind of backing out of it there. And Quill very close now to within the 3-second range. I think Goldzic is actually holding up these drivers behind by quite some bit. And Kalle almost losing the car, and watch him just unload this whole battery down this straight now. Michael's going to go for the win. He's going to go for the overtake. He's going to get it done before the braking zone. And that puts him up to P1. But here comes Goldzic. Oh, thought about it. Didn't think too hardly about it, and Michael's had a bit of a wobble here. And here comes Kalle. Oh! That could have been very, very ugly. That's cost Kalle a podium. That's actually cost Kalle a podium. Oh my. Well, that is cruel. Kalle, who was on for P2, even the win actually, now that I think about it, he was on for the win in some respects, wasn't he? No, he's on for P2. With the penalties. As apparently Tom had a last lap puncture. I can't see what tyre it's on though. Right, interestingly enough there, that was a bit of a wild one. Waiting on Matty and Isfod, and then that will be the race. What? Oh, that's all she wrote, folks. I can get back to making my dinner. So, provisional standings for the race here. Michael in P1, Goldzic in P2, Quill P3, Kalle P4, then Kubel in P5 and Tom in P6. Sam Reynolds in P7, I roll in P8, Bartek, who bonked me, in P9, Isfod in P10, and I think Matty was the last of the finishers. And that will do it. We're back for round 8 of Ero on Friday. And we are going to be in Jeddah, which will be an interesting one. I hope everyone has a great rest of your bank holiday weekend, and we will see you Friday.